Hello out to all you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear. Listening into another Wood Rock for Xbox discussion. Yes, I do know it has been a very long time since I've done one of these. I do apologize, and they may not be as often as my Pitch for Switch type stuff, but I'll still try to do them. So, Killer Instinct 2, Roman numeral 2, not number 2, because that was what KI was. It had the number 2. The follow-up to the Killer Instinct that came out with the OG Xbox One, which is a great fighting game. I don't give a damn who tells you anything. The game is awesome, it's fun, and it just works. So a follow-up to that. What could be done with a follow-up to that particular game? What could make it worthwhile? Well, I am the Game Idea Guy, and nobody asked me, but obviously I asked myself. Scratch that. Look, I always joke about being crazy. I don't want people to actually think I'm sitting here talking to myself like that. Like, oh, what do you think, Andre? This would be cool, but we can do this too. No, I don't do that. I don't do that particular version of talking to myself. Oh, gosh. But what could be done for a follow-up to the most recent iteration of Killer Instinct? Now, people may or may not agree with me, but I do think that at least the roster that they have created, the base roster that they created for this recent version of Killer Instinct, needs to come back. Do it as the Smash Bros. For Xbox exclusively. Have third-party characters join in. Let me not get ahead of myself here. So, what they can do, expand the roster. Obviously, all the KI characters, put them back. And do, as people might not understand this, but do the different iterations of the character. Say if somebody died in the story, have both that version of the character as well as the successor version of that character available, so people can have both of those playstyles. But also start pulling from the IPs that you have. There is no reason that characters from Perfect Dark couldn't fit in Killer Instinct. You could take Joanna, Velvet, what's the guy's name? Josh, I think. Josh? He was a AA agent. Joanna was a AAA agent. You could take those characters and maybe even some of the enemies they face, like Mr. Blonde. You could use them in Killer Instinct. You can take them and put them in the game. Hell, you could even bring in Elvis. And I know that Perfect Dark is a very campy game. That doesn't mean you can't take the more serious side of the characters and utilize them in Killer Instinct. And you could take stages from Datadyne, Carrington Institute, the Mothership, Area 51. You can include those things in there and pay homage to that game, as well as add some great characters to Killer Instinct. And they could all have unique traits and moves because that's how they're made to be. Hell, and Velvet doesn't even have to be a different character from Joanna. She could just be a complete palette swap, to be honest. Sort of like what Capcom did with Yun and Yang, or Yun and Yang in Street Fighter 3 New Generation. You can swap off between the characters. I don't know why I was getting tongue-tied. Cameo. The pull from Cameo. And use characters from that in Killer Instinct. I mean, she has a wide range of powers. It would make sense to be able to use her and some of her enemies. You could have Conquer thrown in there and not the young Conquer. No, Conquer, the one that everybody's familiar with. Battletoads. Make everyone look like they had Rash look. They have Zitz, Rash, Pimple having their own movesets. The Dark Queen, a couple of her stronger minions. And relatably pick their older school iterations, not from the more recent game, because their original portrayals of these characters were much better. So there's stuff that they can do. Take from Halo, like I'm pretty sure they used the Arbiter. They bring him back, put in Master Chief, actually. Hell, Noble 6, if they wanted to. Spartan Locke. There's multiple ways that they can go with this. And all they have to do is just take the time to figure out who they want to put in. It's not like Microsoft doesn't own the rights to multiple franchises to do stuff like that with. They do. I just don't think that they have the people in place to say, hey, well, let's do this. Let's snag from here, here, here. And they could repeat the same model that they set up with before. Especially to make the game long-term. Just make it a long-term service game. I know someone's cringing at that, but no, it's not a bad idea if they do it the way they did it before. They could pull from freaking Jet Force Gemini, because we have no new content for that. None. We have no official new content for Jet Force Gemini. What would be better than going ahead and taking those characters and giving them unique movesets for Killer Instinct? It's not like you don't freaking splatter the brains of the bugs in the game anyway. So it's par for the course with them. So again, just gotta start utilizing it. It's just in how it's utilized, how you go about doing it. And they could even go out to reach out to third parties. Like, hey, how about pulling Mel and Fem Shepard from Mass Effect? And maybe a couple of the characters from the series. It couldn't hurt. Especially from the main cast. Like people's favorites like Dara, like Jack, like Tali, Garrus, Rex. You could pull those characters, throw them in there, people would be happy as hell. People would be happy as hell to have these characters in a Killer Instinct fighting game. Or, ooh, you know what would be even bigger of a bonus? Cross promotion with Mortal Kombat. Take a couple of the main characters from Mortal Kombat, put them in Killer Instinct, have a deal with NetherRealm to put a couple of the Killer Instinct characters in Mortal Kombat. It sells itself. That way then you get the characters in both playstyles. And people would be like, oh, that's awesome, that's cool. Like what SNK and the developers of Fighter X Lair did. Where Skullomania ended up in a female version of Skullomania ended up in the Heroine game, and that sounds bad. SNK Heroines. And then Terry ended up in Fighter X Lair. It's one of those things where you guys have the context to make this type of thing happen. You have the development team to make this thing happen. What you need to do is allow the developers to have time to put their passion into it and to be able to make a really good game. And for story mode or Ultra Tech mode or whatever the hell you want to call it, it's not like the story of Killer Instinct doesn't revolve around time travel and dimension hopping, because it does. So it makes sense that any of these characters could be put in this game, and it could actually be canonical to all of them. That's the screwy thing. It could be something that could be canonical to all of the characters because of how Killer Instinct is. Conker ending up in Killer Instinct, he could be looking for a way to bring back his girlfriend, and he falls into a portal, ends up in Killer Instinct. And at the end of his story, he pops out of the portal, he's back in his own universe. And then you could start a Conker 2 game. You could use it as a jumping off point. Bring people in to see the characters, let them get to know who they are, then send them off to the other games that the characters came from. You know, the thing that Smash does? That's what you could do with it. And it's a great idea to do that. I don't know why people aren't trying to argue for this. I am definitely trying to argue for this. Have the game do what it did before, where it took data of your play style and made a profile based off of you that people could fight. An AI profile that people could fight. Not like you guys haven't done it before. Do that again. Have a survival mode like you have in yeah, they do have a survival. I think they have 2 different survival modes, if I'm honest. Bring that back. Have your standard arcade mode, obviously. And it's just one of those things where I can give you the baseline ideas and let you guys roll with it. And I know this is something Shadow Fox would love to get his hands on. It'd be like, if this were to release tomorrow, he's there. No questions asked. He's there. This game releases tomorrow with all this stuff I'm talking about. He is there. Have a mode where you can team up, having 2 characters swap off. Make it sort of like, not exactly Marvel vs. Capcom, but obviously sort of like it, where you could swap back and forth between the characters, which Mortal Kombat is doing that now too. So you could start a combo with one character, swap in with the other character, continue the combo. Come on. It sells itself. You're right there with the good base game. Just work from that good base game and add these other things in. It'd be a wrap. Have your freemium version that people can play and the character rotates, and then if they want the full experience right then and there, they pay for it. Again, doing exactly what was done before. Letting people get their hands on it, and the freemium version would have to be laden with ads. I'm sorry, you'd have to deal with ads. The non-freemium, the paid version doesn't have any ads in it. So hey, that's, and you're still technically using it to advertise because you're putting in characters from other franchises you own. You're reaching out to other companies to get third-party characters. I mean, Mass Effect was off the top of my head. Mortal Kombat, Dead Space. Hell, if you work a deal with Capcom, get some Resident Evil characters in there. Hell, maybe even a couple of Street Fighter characters, depending on who they are. Akuma in Killer Instinct makes sense. Bison in Killer Instinct makes sense. Gil in Killer Instinct makes sense if we're following logic. So again, it just depends on what you work with, what partners you reach out to. Again, it's up to you guys to do it. I can only make the suggestions because I don't own any of it. I literally don't own any of it. I just think it would be cool if it happened. Killer Instinct 2 right now would be great for Microsoft. Be great for the Xbox brand. It would be awesome. And hell, if you want to be extra sneaky, slip it on the Switch. Make a Switch version, slip it on the Switch. That's where you'll get your Japanese audience that are in the fighting games that will jump on it. But again, I'm not focusing on that right this moment. I'd say get it out for Xbox and PC first, and obviously that has to have cross-platform play. But yeah, this would make for an amazing fighting game, and it would be something that could honestly be a huge boon for Microsoft, a huge boon for the Xbox gaming division. And if it did well enough, it could lead to success with other franchises. Now, I don't know how well this would be able to be programmed in, but if somebody has a Mass Effect Legendary Edition save and they have their own custom Shepard, that should be represented in the game. So, like, it's not like the voices change for Shepard, but your version of Shepard would be the one you're playing with in the game, or if somebody's fighting you online, then their version of Shepard is the one that's in the game. That would be awesome. If they could program something like that in. I know it would be complicated, but it's really just reskinning the character. But that would be awesome as all hell if they were to do something like that. And that would be a nice little Easter egg to screw with people. Again, it's one of those things where it's a cool idea, a cool option, and it's something that could be very well promoted. But again, that's up to the developers, and that's up to Microsoft to make it happen. And it wouldn't even need to be a full reskin of Shepard. It's basically just changing out the face and hair or whatever. However your Shepard looks is how that Shepard looks when they're in the game. Again, and they could, and they could do that with Noble 6. Actually, they could do that with Noble 6 if you have the Halo Reach save data from the Master Chief Collection. Wow, I don't know why I spaced out on that. They can do that with Noble 6. Have your version of Noble 6 in there. Again, just me talking and saying, hey, yo, this would be cool. So that is there. But I can't drag it out anymore. There's not really much more I can add. Other than, hey, stick with making a good baseline game and then work from there. But that's it. If anybody's got any ideas or thoughts that they want to throw in, feel free to. I'm definitely open to hearing them. Otherwise, thank you guys very much for listening, and keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me. And until the next time, enjoy your game. Peace out, everybody. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy, and I'd like to thank you once again for tuning in. If you would be interested in supporting my efforts in content creation, please head on over to Amazon and look up The Game Idea Guy Presents Gaming Word Search, and you will find both Volume 1 and Volume 2 up for sale. Thank you very much once again, and I hope to be able to create more content for you in the future. Peace out.